So what is ITDR? Well, how long have we all been saying identity is the new perimeter? We're all remote, we're going to cloud-based apps. You can't rely on firewalls to do everything nowadays. But from that complexity, attackers have been taken advantage. 95% of organizations have a critical Microsoft Entra ID identity misconfiguration. That's just everyday use. People make mistakes. People may be given too many rights, too many permissions. They haven't put MFA on all the requests, etc., on all the identities, etc. 90%, because of these kind of misconfigurations and other aspects, 90% of organizations experienced an identity breach in the past year. This is how attacks get in. We have a saying: attackers aren't breaking in, they're logging in. It's stolen credentials. It's under secured accounts. And then we're seeing that with the number of leaked and stolen credentials. This has doubled in the past year. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, you're an initial access broker. How are you going to get in? You might be looking for exposed vulnerabilities, and then what was one of the other highest things? You're going to do a phishing attack. You're going to steal somebody's credentials. You're going to trick them into entering their credentials. ITDR, if we thought of as, you've got your identity access management, Microsoft Entra ID in this case, which is all about provisioning and ongoing management of the identity within your organization. Now, these could be individuals, but you're also talking about applications and services that need, there's multiple types of identity. And then you've got your security operations. Could be your own SecOps team, your own SOC, or more than likely, it's an MDR solution, such as Sophos. What pulls those together? How does the security operations team, how does the incident responder know that there's an identity problem, that somebody's credentials have been leaked on the dark web, that there has to be something that pulls these together? Having endpoint security is not going to detect that Jim's credentials are now being traded out there on the dark web. That's what ITDR is for. It starts off proactively. Can we identify vulnerabilities in the identity security? And are there leaked credentials? And then it allows the security operations team to understand those and to take proactive response to it. So that's really what ITDR is doing. But before I jump on, any questions, Jim and Sinam, on that?
Well, maybe I could add that the amount of data leaks onto dark web is on the increase significantly. Like you say, this is how they operate there. There are initial access brokers, whose job is just to sell credentials. They may say, I've got a credential from company X, if anybody is interested, and then ransomware as a service, threat actors can come in, purchase that, and attack. So it's crucial to keep an eye on dark web for your credentials, and that's one of the gaps ITDR is filling.
Yeah, and I think Gartner called this out as well, that through that complexity, the attackers have been focusing on it, and that's why ITDR as an industry area is something that is really growing, because organizations are understanding how important it is and what the challenges are and what they need to do to address it.
Yeah, plus you said 95% of organizations have misconfigurations. Again, we are talking to customers and we are seeing it in the field. It is happening. I mean, so people may have that knowledge gap. They may not necessarily know how to configure conditional access and things like that. So it's great to have a tool that checks them for you and points them out. Obviously it also links to MDR. So your analysts also get alerted, as far as I know. It's an important thing to plug into your data lake, in my opinion.
I totally agree, and I think this slide kind of tries to put it into context exactly what's happening. So Sophos MDR is all about understanding the risks and the threats and being able to respond to them. But what are those threats when it comes to identity? Well, the first part is the misconfigurations, security gaps, having not done the best practices when it comes to identity access management. Sophos is continuously scanning the Microsoft Entra ID environment for such things. And we have around over 80, I think it's actually 83 posture checks that we run. Those are broken down into two types. There's one which is best practices, the ones that are clear best practices of things that you should have and shouldn't have. So has everybody got MFA on it, etc. The obvious ones. The other part is, what are we seeing? What are our incident response teams seeing out there in the wild of this is something that is being exploited? These are the type of techniques that are now being used by the adversaries. That then is a continuous feedback loop into those posture checks. So the posture checks will continue growing. I know 6 months ago, we were about the 70 line. So the last 6 months, we've added another 10 posture checks, and that's ongoing based on what we're seeing in the real world. The second part is looking for the credentials on the dark web, looking for email addresses with your domain. But it's more intelligent than just sending you a list of, right, here's an old list of your users' credentials. We can actually correlate that with, okay, when did the user last update their password? Because if we saw a leak of 12 months ago and your user updated their password and put MFA, you put MFA on their account a month ago, let's not bother you with all the noise. Might be interesting to know, but that's not a risk anymore because those credentials are now out of date. And the final part is ongoing, is the risky user behavior. Are we seeing impossible travel logins? Sinan is both in the UK and America at the same time. Jim has gone on his holidays to Nigeria, and he's suddenly logging in. Are we seeing things like that? And are the conditional access methods being used appropriately? So those things together are then feed into MDR, or if you're a Sophos XDR customer, into XDR. And I think I have a quick video here if we have time.
Sophos ITDR, or Identity Threat Detection and Response, continuously monitors your environment for identity risks and misconfigurations while providing dark web intelligence on compromised credentials. This solution helps you reduce your identity attack surface, monitor for leaked or stolen credentials, identify risky user behavior, protect against identity-based threats, and respond to threats with speed and precision. Sophos ITDR rapidly uncovers identity risks by automatically and continuously performing more than 80 identity posture checks. The solution monitors and alerts when credentials are exposed in data breaches or on the dark web, and looks for anomalous user activity associated with stolen credentials, such as unusual login patterns. With Sophos ITDR, you can identify identity risks in minutes compared to days with legacy solutions, and benchmark your identity attack surface over time. Sophos ITDR detects and responds to threats that bypass traditional identity security controls, protecting against 100% of MITRE attack credential access techniques, and accelerating response to identity-based threats with automated playbooks.
Okay, so I won't put that American accent on, but just to wrap up this, so ITDR is available as a simple add-on if you're a Sophos XDR customer or a Sophos MDR customer. You buy it for the same number of servers and endpoints that your MDR service has. And this is proven technology. This was already a solution within the SecureWorks portfolio, but now it's being made available for all the Sophos customers as well.